This episode of the Gamerheads Podcast is brought to you by Seven Bridges Premium Gourmet Yum Yum Sauce. Enhance every bite with our savory blends of flavors, perfect for meats, vegetables, and crispy treats. Whether you're dipping, drizzling, marinating, grilling, roasting, or snacking, Seven Bridges Yum Yum Sauce takes your culinary experience to the next level. Get yours today and make every meal a gourmet delight.
Hi, I'm Celia Schilling from Yacht Club Games.
Hey, this is James from Mega Cat Studios.
Hey folks, this is Matt, aka Stormageddon from Reignite and the Fun and Games Podcast.
This is Stephanie from the Boss Rush Podcast and the Boss Rush Network.
Hey, this is Mark and Keon from Bonte Avond.
Hey, this is Sebastian with the ProNerdReport.com and the Single Player Experience Podcast.
Hi, this is Chris.
Mike.
And Garrett from Daylight Basement Studio.
Hey, this is Baron J67 from Level 1 Gaming.
Hi, I'm Jacob McCourt from the Left Behind Game Club, Crossplay Conversations, and Video Game Trivia.
Hey, this is Todd Mitchell from Code Right Play.
Salutations, this is Mike Carroll from Stroll Art.
Hey, this is Jeff Moonen from Fun and Games Podcast.
What's good, y'all? This is Adam from Respawn Aim Fire.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Backlog Odyssey.
Hey, this is Rune from Runic Codes.
Hi, this is Andrew from Spalato Bros.
Hi everyone, Jill Grote here from the Indie Informer.
Hello, this is the Crypt Master, and you're listening to Roger You're listening to Roger on the Gamerheads Podcast.
And welcome to another episode of the Gamerheads Podcast. How's everybody doing? I am Mike. With me, as always, is Mr. Phil. Phil, how you doing today?
I'm super glad to be here. It's a beautiful whatever night it is tonight. Got the World Series on in the background, so if I make weird noises, that's what's happening.
It's not technically the background, though. It's like the foreground, right? Because I can't see it on your camera.
Oh, it's like I got it muted still, right?
Yeah, but I can't see it. You said it was on in the background, but all I see in the background are various posters and flags.
And scarves. Here,
and
does this
scarves. Help? There we go. That's better. Yeah. All right. So we're going to be doing play-by-plays for the World Series.
Welcome to Game 4 of the World Series.
Roger is not here with us once again. We'll just let you know when he comes back. But right now, he is actually out trying to set the world's record for trick-or-treating. He actually started on Monday afternoon. So he's doing, you know how like Forrest Gump ran across the country? He's doing that, but trick-or-treating.
I would pay good money for this video. Just to watch Roger going door to door across the country. I'd even like to watch him do it with LA County, like start at the top of LA County to the south of LA County, because it's all connected in one giant city, and just watch Roger trick-or-treat his way through LA County.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. It's just trick-or-treating across America.
Well, truthfully, Cook County would also work for that too.
Yeah. I told him stay away from Cook County.
That's fair.
Yeah. 90% of Cook County. 10%, and actually probably the other 10% too. You should stay away from that. But basically just get all of Illinois and just like avoid it.
Yeah, just hit those northern burbs and that'll be good enough. And the southern burbs, but stay away from proper.
Yeah. So that's what he's doing. So good luck, Roger. We hope you get all sorts of candy. We're excited to see what you get. Save those almond joys for
bars.
Me. We're passing out Pokemon cards this year.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They sell them in like Halloween packs. So it's not like, you know, I'm not giving these. No, I don't like kids enough to give them $5 worth of Pokemon cards. It's like
more
50
than a king size bar.
Yeah. Actually, those were pretty cool. I remember when I was a kid, I don't know if I told you this before, when I was a kid, the most exciting thing I ever got when I went trick-or-treating was a can of Pepsi.
Huh.
And I was like, it was so unique. I was like, that's a perfect, why aren't more people giving me cans of Pepsi? And then I drank it.
And when Coke is better.
You know, I go back and forth.
Personal preference.
I go back and forth. Sometimes I like Coke better. Sometimes I'm a Pepsi guy. Right now, I'm in my Pepsi phase.
I was about to say, I also drink approximately 20 ounces of soda per year, so I'm not the...
Okay. You're not the
soda connoisseur. Yeah, I'm not the expert on this one.
Gotcha. Is there
And
any
usually 6 of those are in a root beer float.
root beer floats are nice. Anyway, anything you were any? Did you ever go trick or treating as a kid? Did you ever get anything really interesting?
No, I think my most fond Halloween memory, as far as actual Halloween memory goes, and I've probably told this story on the podcast before. I don't really remember. But in 1991, here in Minnesota, we had something called the Great Halloween Blizzard of '91, where it came and dropped like 3 feet of snow on it or on us. I, at the time, did not live in Minnesota. I was living in Minot, North Dakota on the Air Force Base, and was fortunate enough to get chickenpox approximately 5 days before Halloween happened. So we got the snowstorm on either the 29th or the 30th. So we were trick-or-treating through 3 feet, 4 feet worth of snowdrifts. And I was told I was not allowed to go trick-or-treating because I had chickenpox. And lo and behold, this crafty 13-year-old with chickenpox snuck out of his window and went door to door with his friends and went trick-or-treating.
Nice.
When I would get to people's houses, they would be like, "What are you dressed as for Halloween?" I'd be like, "Kid with chickenpox." Duh. Like, wow, that's such realistic looking makeup. And I'm like, yeah, it certainly is. As I'm just itching the hell out of myself.
Just scratching everything, yeah.
So I don't know how many kids I gave chickenpox to that year by going door to door and trick-or-treating, but I was the conduit of an outbreak, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, that's always for the best. They say, do they even do that anymore? I wonder if parents even do that anymore.
No, because now there's a vaccine against it. So they don't do chickenpox parties anymore.
That was always fun, though. You stay home and you got your 7-Up and your Price is Right. Oh, well. When you get them when you're 13, they're a lot different from what I understand, because I only have the 13-year-old experience. They were very atrocious and just super itchy. I distinctly recall asking my mom and dad to kill me. Oh. But at least you got candy.
Yeah, I did. Didn't get killed, though, so I didn't get my Halloween wish.
You can make Halloween wishes?
Well, you can make any day of the week, or any day of your wishes. It's just, a Halloween wish is extra special.
It's special on Halloween. That's when the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest, so your opportunity to be killed on Halloween increases exponentially.
It's far higher. I mean, and especially, the satanic panic wasn't quite happening at that point. It was a little bit over. But, I even recall, wow, do we get into this in the podcast? Sure, why not? What the hell?
It's Halloween.
It's Tuesday, and it's Halloween. But I recall being in, I'm going to say 10th grade, which would have been obviously after I was 13, because I'm not smart. I was probably 25 at the time I was in 10th grade. One of our teachers warning us not to go to a certain city, and it's called Tegas, and it still exists in the middle of North Dakota, and it was quote unquote famous for its satanic cults and satanic worshiping, because like all the buildings and shit were abandoned many, many years ago, and there was like one church and 4 houses in town.
Oh.
And he claimed that he'd went hunting with a bunch of his friends and he'd found like a deer strung up in like a sacrificial type of a pose with all of its insides ripped out and on the floor and things like all over the place. He's just like, "You got to stay away from Tegas. Tegas is where all the Satanists are." And we were just like, "Okay, Mr." I don't remember what his name was, but yeah.
So did you go?
Yeah, I've been to Tegas multiple times, of course.
Say, dude, if anything, that guy would have been like, not that I would want to get involved in that other parties and stuff, but just to check things out.
Definitely did not break into the church, because that would have been illegal, because there was rumors that inside of the church, the cross had been turned upside down and it was all covered in 666 graffiti and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get anywhere near any of that stuff.
Yeah, so of course did not break into the church to go see if any of it was factual, and from what I was told, none of it was factual. The church was still upright, but the church had clearly not been used in many, many years. But the legend of Tegas it lived on throughout us as teenage kids in the 90s, and we all went, I shouldn't say we all, but a small handful of us went and checked it out.
That's cool. I'm trying to think if I had any other interesting Halloween memories. The one thing I remember the most about Halloween, I remember the very first Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, watching that after trick-or-treating, and actually getting a little bit scared during the Raven short.
Nevermore.
But that was pretty scary. But there was always one thing I always remembered, this is especially when I was a little kid, and I always found this fascinating, how this, like, emotionally this hit me, was the Charlie Brown, Great Pumpkin Halloween special. Good special, great special. But what really hits me about that, and watching, it's like, for me, watching that special after trick-or-treating, late night on a VHS tape on Halloween, like 10 o'clock, is not so much the first, what is it, like a 45-minute thing? So like the first 40 minutes, but it's the last 5 minutes that really hit me. It's that build up to Halloween. Everybody loves Halloween to do this. And then at the very end, when Linus falls asleep in the pumpkin patch, and at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, Lucy, yeah, that's his sister, she goes out to bring him back in. And then the next day, like, you know, Charlie Brown and Linus are talking by the brick wall like they do.
Like they tended to do.
Yeah. But it's just something about the peace and like the finality of Halloween when it ends and like the calm. I don't know. There's just something about that puts me into like a real it's a cool feeling. It's a very like relaxed zen like feeling is the ending of that show.
I haven't watched that in years. I should. Rachel would totally go for that. She's a big Peanuts mark. She would definitely be down for watching that this year. Don't you have a normal Halloween ritual of the show that you watch?
The Garfield Halloween Adventure.
Yeah. Have you watched it yet, or are you saving it?
I'm saving it. I haven't watched it yet. I gotta watch that, and I gotta watch the Ernest Scared Stupid. That's my other Halloween movie. But the Garfield one is along the same lines because, again, the first 25 minutes is all on Halloween, and then the end of it is the calm, relaxing post-Halloween depression or something like that.
Almost a retrospective.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Watch that and let me know what you think. But like, watch it on Halloween night as late as you can.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
But you'd have to find it though, because I think it's only on Apple TV.
Boo.
Yeah. So you'd have to like go to the library and bust out the VHS.
There's got to be a plagiarized copy floating around.
There's got to be.
Tube.
Yeah. Somewhere on the. It's probably not the dark web, but more like the gradient web.
The gray web.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into video game talk. Okay, so what we're going to talk about, we just got a couple things to go over. And our first, since we have finished our lovely month of October, let's talk about our games of November. So, Phil, I was about to go off on another tangent. You know what? Screw it. I'm going off on another tangent before.
Yeah, do it. Content, Mike. Content. Create it.
This is something that I haven't seen in a while. It's actually been probably about 2 or 3 years, at least in my memory. Tell me if I'm wrong. But for the longest time, and I'm talking mid-90s through 2015, 2016, something like that. November was the month for games.
Absolutely.
That is when the best games ever came out. All your amazing games. Your Zeldas, and I'm not going to get into it. Just basically games, the heavy hitters always came out in November. But then it shifted. And a lot of the heavy hitters were coming out in January and February over the past few years. And now, at least for me, for these games of November, it looks like we're back to getting a lot of heavy hitters.
Maybe I read this list wrong. I mean, I've had like 3 beers, but there's nothing.
So yeah, you tell me. So Phil, is there anything at all on that list that interests you?
Truthfully?
Yeah, truthfully.
Reading it again, there's nothing here that super tickles my fancy. Right. Tetris Forever intrigues me just because it's a Tetris game and it's a game that you can play mindlessly to kill some time.
Yep.
That's there. Lego Horizon's on the list just because I do typically enjoy Lego games. I'm assuming Lego Horizon is based off of Horizon Zero Dawn, so unfortunately I probably won't be able to play it. I did not hate the first Horizon Zero Dawn. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is that what it's based on or no?
It is. It's based on Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's on your favorite video game system. Not just the PlayStation, but also on the Switch.
Yeah, that means I can play it. Don't know if I want to. And then something called Slitterhead. I know nothing about Slitterhead, but it's a cool sounding title where it sounds like it might be something that I'd be into. So I've got that on my list as well. But when I look at this, and I know that this list does contain a Mario Luigi Brothers ship, which again, I don't know what that is. There's nothing here that stands out as that big ass AAA title that is going to be in everybody's stocking at Christmas.
Yeah. That's usually, you know what the thing is, it's usually Call of Duty. That's usually
which is already out.
Which just came out, yeah. So all right. Well, Tetris Forever. I'll give you what I've got. So Tetris Forever, yes. That's a collection of a whole bunch of different Tetris games.
Okay, that's cool.
So that'll be fun to add to the old collection. Slitterhead, absolutely. This looks like a Silent Hill style game.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So it's all sorts of messed up. So that one I'm looking forward to. Stalker 2 comes out. Always love a horror-based first-person shooter.
I didn't play the first one, so that one didn't make my list. It probably should have, and I should probably play the first one as well.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's on Game Pass. I'll have to take a look. Let's see why it wouldn't be. Oh, well. Let's see. Next, Dragon Quest III, the HD 2D remake. I'm not a big RPG person, but I do like Dragon Quest games.
You like fighting slime?
I do like the slime. I like that the art is by Toriyama.
Okay.
So, what else do I have? So I've got Mario and Luigi Brothership, which I'm looking forward to that. I have that game pre-ordered. And that's the next game in the Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi RPG. So if you ever play like Superstar Saga, which is a good game, or Bowser's Inside Story or anything like that. So it's a turn-based RPG.
Okay. I can see the appeal behind it, but it's probably not going to do much for me, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. The other one is also a turn-based RPG, and that's Metal Slug Tactics. And man, do I love me some Metal Slug. I always love the animation on it, just the Contra-style gameplay. So this one it's a Metal Slug game, but it plays like
Final Fantasy Tactics?
Like Final Fantasy Tactics, exactly. I was going to say like Fire Emblem, but that's the same style of game.
Or Wargroove, or...
Wargroove, yep. But now that I saw that Metal Slug Tactics is coming out, I busted out of the old backlog the Alien Tactics game that I got.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize I did one.
Yeah, there's an Aliens, and it came out. It's a Series X game, so it's not like an Xbox One game,
right?
But it's an Aliens game, but it's all that like grid-based, turn-based RPG.
When I was younger, I really appreciated tactics styles games, but as I've gotten older, it's lost a little of its luster. And I think it's due to the fact that they are kind of a time suck, and they do take a lot of time to get into the groove. And I don't necessarily have that kind of time laying around, unfortunately.
Yep.
So I've fallen off of that wagon a little bit.
Yep, that's what happens. Yeah. I just look at my games and I'm like, I don't have the strength to get into a new story.
I just want the comfort of what I know.
I just want the comfort of what I know. That's why I always default to Fall Guys and Fortnite.
Yep. Looking at you, I'll move this show in Overwatch.
That's right, the show in Overwatch, exactly. Let's see. The only other game that's on this list is actually a PC game. So I'm interested in a PC game. And that's Planet Coaster 2.
Another game that style of game when I was younger, I would really be into. But again, just don't have the patience for it right now. Yeah. Maybe after I finally win $1 jillion playing blackjack or something, maybe I'll have that kind of time.
There you go. Yeah, I the only reason I would pick it up is because a buddy of mine, well, Kurt, he loves the Planet Coaster games, and he goes full ham into those games.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, and this one has a form of co-op. So basically how the way it works is you can share your save with somebody.
Okay.
So it's like you're not playing at the same time, but whenever you play the game, it saves what you've done onto both files. So it is kind of like co-op, just not. It's like co-op with extra steps.
Split co-op.
There you go. Something like that. Yeah. So that's what's coming out in November. I almost picked up, or no, we already talked about that. How I was tempted to get a PS5, then I'm like, no thanks, because it was on sale like 2 weeks ago. So I'm not going to get into that. All right. Anything else? Anything else interesting, news related, or anything that we can go over before we go and get into what we played?
Not that I'm aware of. I did download the newest Call of Duty. I haven't played it. I debated deleting it almost automatically just because I'm tired of seeing the logo. But it's there. I hear it kind of gets horror-y at the end, so I'm kind of intrigued by that.
That's why I downloaded it.
Okay.
So but I haven't played it. But yeah, I downloaded it because I'm looking forward to that. I heard the same thing.
Yeah, we're on the same page then. Call of Duty, We're going to talk about all of next week.
Well, probably yeah. I think
probably
I'll
not.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into what we played then. So, Phil, what have you been playing over this last weekish?
Oh boy. Unfortunately, I have nothing new to add to that collection.
Oh.
I'm trying to stop and think that if I did play anything else aside from Inscription, which I did spend a little bit of time with, not a ton of time, but some time. Outside of that, new season of Overwatch started 2 weeks ago, so that's consuming my time. MLB The Show just started a Halloween program that's happening where you unlock a bunch of 99 players, so I've spent some time with that. I stared at the casting of Frank whatever and tried to talk Rachel into it, but she was out, so we did not start that yet, unfortunately. And so I've just kind of been stuck in this weird gaming rut. It's also been very busy for me lately. So, I mean, unfortunately, I have not had more than probably about an hour and a half a day to put into anything.
Gotcha.
And so I just knock out my daily types of missions and quests, and I do that, and then go to bed.
Well, all right. Well,
what about yourself, Mike?
Well, myself, I actually was able to get a few games in. Normally, this time was all about scary movies. So, like, the wife and I, we did a double feature of Halloween 1 and 2. And we saw Smile 2 in the theater.
You said that off air, I think, last week.
Okay. Yeah. Enjoyed that. Yeah. Saw a movie called Freaky with what's that guy's name? Vince Vaughn. Think it, the movie Freaky Friday?
Yeah.
Think of the same concept, only the two people that switch bodies are a teenage high school girl and a serial killer like Jason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but in terms of the game space, I played.
Was Freaky good?
It was okay. It wasn't bad. It's a horror comedy.
A horror-comedy?
It's a yeah.
A core?
Comer?
A Comer? That's how they say comma in Boston.
Yeah, Boston. Anyway, that's number 3 after New York and LA for me. Anywho, we don't want to get into that. So in terms of games I played, so I finished my Halloween season for Fall Guys. Unlocked the Count Dracula, which was like the last one to unlock.
Okay, nice job.
Guys. So
did that. Good game.
Yeah, GG. I started playing a game called Crano Origins. It was on the Switch. I think I got it on sale it was on my wish list. I got it on sale for like $7. It's a Shovel Knight clone, but instead of a knight with a shovel, you are a skeleton with and I always mispronounce this, Scythe? Scythe? Skithy?
I always go with Scythe myself, but I barely speak English.
So, yes. So Crano Origins, fun game. Like they did, I don't care that it's a Shovel Knight ripoff, and it plays a lot like Shovel Knight, looks like Shovel Knight. It's a fun Halloween style game. In fact, I think our friend might recommend it next year.
Oh.
Yeah. And not only that, but the developer, I think, just announced that they're working on a sequel, and the sequel is going to be a Metroidvania style game.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. So that's Kraino, Kraino Origins. Check it out. It's a pretty good game.
I might have to give that a look-see.
Yeah. I
Well,
also
look-see here.
Yeah, see. I also started up a new game plus of Dead Space.
Oh.
Yes, and I played it far enough that I could get to the bench or the shop or whatever, and then fully max out my my armor and get the achievement for it.
Yeah.
And then after that, and then then an enemy popped out, and it tells you, it says, when you play New Game Plus, you will come across new and more challenging enemies. So I'm like, okay. And so I came across another necromorph, which is just your basic one, but this one was dark red and had glowing eyes and took about 15 shots to take down as opposed to the normal 3. So then I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good. I don't think
I'm cool
I need
with
to
that
get through
achievement.
this. I got the achievement for the maxed out armor. I think that's good enough for me. So
That sounds ridiculously difficult.
yeah, the game is hard. Like even on like medium difficulty, it's really is a challenge. But
so then, can I ask you, since obviously you completed new game regular, how was your entire playthrough of the remaster?
I had a good time with it, except I think we talked about it on the last episode where there was some stuff that got on my nerves, like, enemies constantly showing up behind you.
Yep.
There are some parts where it was like too much backtracking. The game was really dark at points.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, well, all I'm doing in this entire game, all you're doing is fixing different parts of the ship.
Uh-huh.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole game. Oh, you need to go here, and the Johnson rod is broke. You got to get a new Johnson rod in there.
I hate it when the Johnson rod's broken.
I got to get a new Johnson rod. Then we got to go over to storage and get a Johnson rod. Here's the guy I got to fight. So it's still a fun game, and I love the combat and everything.
It's a horror-based fetch quest game.
That's basically what it is. Yeah. But I liked it.
Good.
And then the other game I played is a game called Retro Realms. And what that is a collection of 2 16-bit style side-scrolling hack and slash games based on Halloween and Evil Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You got that then, huh?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely picked it up. Yeah, so I picked it up. It came with, actually, when I opened up the Xbox game, Xbox, not the Switch version.
You're maturing, Mike.
Yep, I know. I'm trying to do better by myself. It came with a pack of cards. So that was pretty cool. It's nice to see, like, you get like the extra stuff in there. So I opened up the pack of cards, and it just had different characters from the game and like quotes from the movies that they were in and stuff. But you can play as Michael Myers. You could play as Ash from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. You can also play as Laurie Strode from the Halloween movies, Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Interesting.
And then you can also play as Kelly. She was one of the main characters in Ash vs. Evil Dead, the series.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically those 2 games. The games aren't very deep. I think there's only like 10 levels in each, but you can play that. What's cool is like all the extra bells and whistles. You can then play as Ash in the Halloween game or as Michael Myers in the Evil Dead game.
Okay.
And I think it unlocks different scenes and things like that. But the game isn't set up like it's like, oh, press start and then, oh, choose your game. No, the game starts and you're in an old abandoned arcade almost. And so it shows the 2 games, and then you have to, it's a first person view. You walk up to the game and press the A button to select it. Well, when you're done with that, you can walk around this location. So you can go in and there's a trophy room and there's a diorama room. So whenever you beat a level, I think like a diorama of the level will show up on a pedestal, and it's pretty cool. So it's kind of like how a lot of those acrylic things are being done, where it's like three. I don't know. It's really tough to talk about it and not show you, but it's like there's a background that's like an acrylic stand, and then in front of it there's another acrylic piece, and then in front of that there's another acrylic piece, so it gives you like a 3D-ish view of a scene.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can get those. You can, in the game, you can collect tickets by killing enemies or finding hidden tickets, and then you can use the tickets to purchase things in the museum. So I purchased Michael Myers' clown outfit from the very beginning of Halloween, and it doesn't really do anything. It's just there in the museum.
You can't equip it as you're playing with Michael Myers playing the Halloween version of the game?
As far as I know, no, because the clown costume looks realistic, whereas the game is 16-bit.
Okay.
And then so they've got that for Halloween and Evil Dead. Another cool room that you can go into, and this one is really cool, and I was really happy to see this. There's a room with a bookshelf with a bunch of VHS tapes and an old school TV and an old school VCR. As you play the game, you can find VHS tapes, and then you can go into this room and then grab them and put them in the VCR and watch behind the scenes videos, a whole bunch of different stuff, cutscenes, history. So there's some really cool extra bonus features. Like I was just watching, I watched the video of how they came up with the idea and all that other jazz. But it's really cool to see all that bonus stuff. You don't see a lot of that. Like, I love looking at the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's always just a good fun time to watch. My question for you is, do the two games play similarly, or are they pretty different, or somewhere in between?
Same style. And that's the thing. The games are just okay.
All right.
It's basic run of the mill. Walk left to right. A guy comes up to you. You attack him. You fight a boss, and then you collect candy corn, which is like currency. At least in the Halloween version. I didn't play the Evil Dead one. I played the Halloween one.
Okay.
You collect candy corn, which is the currency, which you could then use to upgrade Michael Myers, give him extra life, unlock some extra moves, things like that. Few problems that I have with the game. First of all, there's some input lag, and it really there's a down attack. You can use a down attack, which then after you hit them, Michael Myers will pogo off of them like a Scrooge McDuck style.
Yep.
But there's just the slight, and I don't know if it's a delay with the input or if it's because Michael Myers has like a wind up animation before he swings the knife.
Yep.
It could be one of those. But I looked up on Reddit, and I'm not the only one. I thought it might have been my TV, but I'm not the only one that's having this problem. There are people on Reddit that are saying it. Actually, it was bad enough that they're not going to reply. I know they're not going to reply, but I sent them. I tweeted out to the developer, and I'm like, hey, there is some bad input lag on this game. Is there anything being done about it?
Right.
So, and it's not like it doesn't break the game, but it's something you need to be cognizant of and work with.
It tarnishes the experience.
It does a little bit. Like, okay, here's a guy coming at me. Well, he's far enough away. I should probably press the attack button. And then he'll just run into my knife when I swing it.
Oh, when it's that bad, that's pretty bad.
So I've died quite a few times because of a missed attack due to some input lag. I might try.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, you do your thing. I'll ask questions.
I might try a wired controller and see if that makes a difference.
So. That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
Is all the bonus content exclusive to the physical copy or physical copy, or is it also on the digital version?
It's on the digital. You mean like the videos and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You unlock the videos throughout playing the game.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if that was one of those special add-ons that only happened because of having the physical copy.
Nope.
And I don't remember exactly, unfortunately, but how much was it to buy the game? It's $40, right?
It's a $50 game, so that's a full price game, which to me, it may be about $10 too expensive.
I was about to say that makes the lag that much more. Just take the time, guys and gals.
Well, here's the other thing. And so anyway, so like I said, the games themselves, they're not bad. They just could be better. So I'm hoping that and Way Forward worked on this too. And Way Forward was awesome they're usually really good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun achievements though.
Really? See, now you're speaking my language.
Achievements. Yes. There's like a lot of and that's what I liked about this. Like there's your achievements for beating the levels, but then there's like achievements for bounce on like 4 enemies without hitting the ground.
Yep.
But then there's achievements in the first person arcade area.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, there's one, watch your first video, purchase your first thing. But then there's like when I was looking at the diorama, I like flipped it over to the back, and which was pretty cool because it showed Michael Myers in the sanitarium. But then when you flipped it around, it was the same scene, but a hellish. Like it looked like it was in hell instead. Because in the game, when you press the B button, you flip between the real world and the demon world. So while you're playing, there's like some hidden areas that you can only access by flipping into the demon world. Yep. So I spun the diorama around, and then when it did that, kaloop, the achievement unlocked. Yeah. So you can get an achievement for that. There's an achievement for trying to exit the arcade.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it's like I was in the first person mode, and I turned around and I went to the door and I pressed the A button, and then an achievement popped up that said, "Well, at least you tried."
That reminds me of I think it was the Simpsons hit and run game where you got 10 points just for pressing start to start the game.
Oh yeah, was that one called like worst achievement ever or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Are there 1,000 achievements per game, or is it 1,000 between the two?
Oh, it's 1,000 per. And
I like the fact that Xbox is doing that.
And there's 74 total.
Holy hell.
I'm just looking at what the achievements right now. View a diorama, beat the world, watch a video. Oh yeah, there's an achievement for pressing start.
Okay.
Here's the downside. You ready?
Yeah. Maybe.
My gamer score right now, 81,154.
You don't like that that uneven number.
Nah, there's achievements that are worth 1. There's achievements that are worth 8. Which that's all right. It is what it is. But
that was a tick of mine for a long time, and then I was just finally like, you know what? I can't do anything about this at this point. It's just going to be what it is.
Yep. So yeah, 74 achievements, 2,000. But let's see, play a game 10 times, watch all the videos, buy more souvenirs, So there's some fun ones. Use only the sub weapon to beat a level.
Ooh.
Yeah, beat the game with no health upgrades purchased.
Hey.
Ooh, oh wow, they got achievements for pacifist runs. That's pretty cool. But anywho, so again, it's interesting. I hope they can make the controls a lot more responsive, like immediate responsive, because then that would make it a lot easier. There's also some parts that are kind of hard because like not due to it being challenging, just like they're just like throwing too much at you.
So. Yeah, well, that's how the game tends to do that at a certain point as well, unfortunately, just to kind of create longevity. There it is.
Yep.
Within the course of the game. If they tighten up those controls and you see anything that's posted about it or you happen to notice it, let me know and I will gladly buy that game. But with that kind of a lag, it's just it's a huge turnoff, unfortunately, just hearing those words.
Yeah, because I mean if you have like a hack and slash side scrolling game like that,
It's got to be tight.
It has to be tight. It has to be perfect. Like there's
That's a
no room
bummer.
for error. Yeah. So, but I'd say I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10.
That's not terrible.
That's not terrible. It's doable. It's serviceable, especially if you like those horror movies. But
yeah,
other than that, it's just okay. All right. Well, let's get into our last segment of the night, and that is Phil. We need to say goodbye to our friend, our good buddy, Retro Game Frankenstein.
I'm gonna miss him.
I mean, he's already hit the road. He's
peeled that pavement away in his motorcycle.
That's right. Yep. He's driving off into the sunset,
leaving a trail of memory cards behind him.
Yeah, memory cards that don't work anymore.
With Lara Croft on them.
With Lara Croft on them. All right. So last week, the game that was assigned to us by Retro Game Frankenstein was a game called Inscription. And actually, you know what I do? I haven't done this in a while, but let me pull up the official description of Inscription. An inscription description.
An inscription description. It's like an Inception deception.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we go. From the creator of Pony Island and the Hex, comes the latest mind-melting, self-destructing love letter to video games. Inscription is an inky, black, card-based odyssey that blends the deck-building roguelike escape room-style puzzles and psychological horror into a blood-laced smoothie. Darker still are the secrets inscribed upon the cards. In Inscription, you will acquire a deck of woodland creature cards by draft, surgery, and self-mutilation. Unlock the secrets lurking behind the walls of Leshy's cabin, and embark on an unexpected and deeply disturbing odyssey. So the game is actually it's currently on sale. Actually, it's on sale on Xbox for $8, but it's also on Game Pass, which is how we came across it. So Inscription, it's a card game, and it's you're playing this game against a mysterious, really creepy stranger. Mm-hmm. And basically the way, and help me out, Phil, the way the game works is you have cards that are different animals. You have to sacrifice animals in order to activate
better animals.
And to activate other animals. Like, so for example, you've got squirrel cards. Squirrel cards are your basic ones. So like you have to, and you can only put, I think, 4 or 5 cards down in front of you at a time.
It's 4 as far as I played.
It's 4. Okay. So you put down a squirrel card, and then let's say you have a wolf card. Well, the wolf card needs a sacrifice of 2 drops of blood. However, a squirrel only has 1 drop of blood, so you need to put 2 squirrels down before you can put the wolf card down. So you kill the squirrels, you drop the wolf, and then every turn, the wolf will attack whatever's in front of it. And if there's nothing in front of it, it attacks the other person you're playing against. And if it hits them, then there's some gold or something, trinkets that drop onto a scale. And once the scale goes all the way down, then you win. So every time the other person attacks you, it drops onto your side of the scale. So it's like back and forth with who can get the scale to drop all the way down first. Some of the creatures have different, buffs or abilities.
Abilities, buffs, both work.
Yeah. So, like, if you have a flying one, it'll fly over whatever's in front of it and attack the person or the other person. There's also you can also collect items and use them, kind of like what was it, the goat or something like that? The goat in the bottle.
The goat. There's also the tweezers or the pliers. There's different creatures you can get throughout the course of the bottle. God, what else did I see?
What, like the different creatures or the different items?
No, the different items, because there was a small handful. There was like a fan as well, or something like that would give a buff to something that you played.
Yeah.
Or could attach to.
Yep. So while you're playing this game, the person you're playing against is like dropping hints as to why you're there, things like that, and then they roll out a scroll, and right before each round of the game you play, you're you have a little character that looks like a Monopoly piece or something like that, that bounces on a path, and you can do things like get extra cards. You can sacrifice one card to make another card more powerful, and that's in between like the different matches. One thing I'll say, this game is really creepy. It's not scary, but I love how like dark and foreboding it is.
The vibe of it is outstanding. Just you being trapped in a cabin with a dude that wants to play cards with you. It's like if we were drunk in a cabin and I just want to play cribbage, like, no, you're not leaving until you beat me 5 times.
Yep. So yeah, it's and the guy that you're playing against, you can't see his face, but you could definitely see his eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, the eyes are really creepy. And then when you're playing each round, which is like the scroll, when you get to the very end, you play against a boss, and he puts on a mask of the boss, and it's really creepy. And again, really creepy, really creepy factor. And I guess there's a story involved, but I didn't get far enough because, man, this game is tough. Like I made it to the angler, and the second boss for me was the angler, and his ability to use a hook to grab one of my creatures and then use them against me, that killed me. I'm like, nope, I couldn't do it. So I don't know. I got to play the game a bit more to get better at it, I guess.
It's a game that I was super intrigued by, and I love the hand-holding phase because it made me feel good about it. I am notorious, and I've said it on this show more than once, that like CCGs are just not my style. I'm not smart enough to play them. In my own words, nobody else's. Well, I'm sure plenty of other people have said it about me. But the vibe of this game, and even like when you get past the prospector, as you're leading up the prospector, he's like, go over to the candle or over to the candelabra on the wall, go grab that, bring it back here, set it down. But you see like, I'm going to say 6 other things that you can interact with. And then he says, one of like your cards says something along the lines of, there's a way out of this room. It's in the room. But you can't go and interact with that stuff until you get to certain points in the story.
Right.
Which is where the escape room aspect of it comes into play, which is super intriguing to me, but it's tough.
Yeah, it's a hard game. But it's still fun, still enjoyable. Like I really love the vibe on it.
The vibe is outstanding.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of being able to put those pieces into play that will get you in the right direction. And for people that are into CCGs or card games, they'll enjoy this a lot more than I did. Not saying that I hated it.
No.
But just my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah, right. I'm not smart enough.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed the time I had with it.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Anything else? Anything else? I got nothing else on the game. It's on Game Pass. Like if you're interested, intrigued, and you have Game Pass, pick it up. I think it's on. Like I said, it's on sale. But if you can get it for like $7, then I think it's worth it. Especially if you like those types of card games, or you like spooky games.
Yeah, if you like spooky games or card games or a combination of both, go check it out. Go play through it a handful of times. I think you'll have a good time with it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but I didn't enjoy it as much as in my brain, I had Balatro in my head, and it wasn't Balatro.
That's right. Yep, that's what I was thinking. The same. Nice. All right. Well, so that does it for Retro Game Frankenstein's games for this year. So we'll see him again next year when he has a whole new set of games for us to play. And then that's all we got. So thank you everybody so much for hanging out with us today. Phil, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, where can they reach you?
You can reach me on Twitter at BNow23, but more importantly than that, Mike, aside from how they can reach you, is if they want to read all of the reviews and all of the shenanigans that are happening on Gamerheads Podcast, as well as on Gamerheads.com. Never mind, I just dropped the name of the website. Go to Gamerheads.com and take a look at our reviews, take a look at our articles. We are working diligently to try to bring the best independent content on this side of Jill, who is part of our Patreon, to the internet.
Yes, our Patreon on the internet. And just, I hate to interrupt you, but that's GamerheadsPodcast.com.
That's what I said. No?
You said
Okay.
Gamerheads.com.
Yeah,
But you got to say like GamerheadsPodcast.com.
GamerheadsPodcast.com.
So yes, give us money on the Patreon. So
if you like what you hear, and if you don't, we don't blame you.
Yeah. Roger needs gas money to get back from Walla Walla, Washington.
I've been to Walla Walla. I was just there like a month ago. Hell yeah, dude. Man. Yep. Shout out to the Walla Walla Weedery, just because I'm going to do that. It was a super nice dispensary that had very nice people that were working there that were very informed and very helpful as well. Like, Walla Walla is a dope little city that I think everybody should go visit at least once in their life.
I only know about it because of Bugs Bunny.
That, and I think it was also an Oregon Trail.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry to have just disrupted
right.
that, but I got excited over Walla Walla.
Anyway, yeah, Patreon, right? That's where we were?
Yeah, Patreon. If you like what
Patreon.
you hear, go see a physician first, and then second, give us some money. And then third, Mike, how can people get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you on Twitter?
They can get a hold of me at PezGuy Mike.
Excellent.
Yes. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening for this full 50-ish minutes. We hope you all have a fantastic rest of your evening or day or whatever time you're listening to this. Hope you had a happy Halloween. And until next time, everybody stay safe and game on. We'll see y'all later. Goodbye.
Take care.
.com.